Alright, let's see if this is working. Let me see if this is working. It doesn't look like this is working. Is this working? Why won't you refresh? Okay, cool. We don't need that continuing on. Hello everyone. Actually, let me change one thing. Have this up. There we go. So I know my voice levels. Hello. Many of you don't know me, but my name's Neko Belly Dancer. At least that's what I'm going by. I'm not a Twitch streamer. I'm not anybody special. Just a regular old adult. Living out my adulty life, which, for those who don't have to do it, just know it's soul draining. It's soul draining as heck. During high school, during middle school, they tell you to follow your dreams, and as someone who grew up in a household where it was relevant that you couldn't follow your dreams, you had to be able to sustain yourself right then and there. Yeah, it's hard. I wanted to help people. I paid my way through college, and then was stopped because adulting's not that easy. I tried to help people. My next dream, honestly, the dream I've wanted forever, was to tell stories. And I did my best. But I also went to public school, and even though I do my best to be a straight A student, you know, adulting gets in the way. Real life gets in the way. And real life isn't full of happy endings and getting what you want all the time. A lot of us know. A lot of us 90s Disney kids are living through that right now. And today was not a good day. I'm not really good at my job, especially since it's a work-at-home job. I mean, I don't have a car to go to any other job, so I'm blessed to be able to pay my bills. But my dream is to tell stories. Maybe if I get the time off enough to go back to practice to dance. For those of you who know, I am a belly dancer and I love to dance, but real life keeps getting in the way. But yeah, I sat down. Oh shoot, you know what? Looks good on screen. Am I? Yeah, I think it's fine. I think I'm not a streamer. I don't know how this works. Any hoozlebees, I wrote my story to be heard. I wrote my story to share with the world and believe that my life isn't worthless. And it would be awesome if if I could do this for the rest of my days. It would be fun. But, oh well. I mean, there's definitely a few parts of the story that I really want to read, but I also have a TikTok, and I use my TikTok for advertising, and hopefully, people pick up my book. But we don't have time to read anymore, so I'm just going to read the last 2 chapters. I'm going to tell you how it ends. I mean, you'll be confused. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown, but I put my heart and soul into it, so hopefully it's entertaining. Technically, this is book 2. What I did was I made 1 volume, split them up into 2 books. You can just get the books or you can get the whole volume. The whole volume is a hardback for those who like it, but the softbacks are cheaper. And honestly, they're not that bad. But enough about that. Just for a little bit of a rundown, she is the newest Reaper for Hell, the Norse goddess of the Nordic. Oh my gosh. Oh, let me just take a deep breath and not cry. Wendy is the newest Reaper for the Norse goddess Hel, ruler of the Norse underworld. She gets into a bar fight, and Odin, because who pays attention to what Hel does? Odin didn't really know. But he gets a little hint on how powerful she could be. And he challenges her, forces her to do a duel. And she's in the training. This chapter 22 is called Training Montage. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, wait, this way. Yeah, it's called Training Montage. So, yeah. Yeah. Each chapter starts with a letter to Hel, because this is like a memoir type thing. Whatever. Hel, I passed out after that. Of course, everyone was worried and forced me to take a break. Gus bought me food from the mortal world, and the whole thing evolved into a bit of a party. A hangout with friends before I left to train with Freya's brother. Freyr. I'm probably saying that wrong. I read. I don't talk because friends are hard, especially when you're an adult. Can you focus on me, please? Can you focus on me, please? Do I have to click you? Badoop. Do I have to click you? Maybe? Okay. I think you're focused. Okay. I hang out with friends before I left to train with Friar. I think some of them believed that this would be the last time they would see me. I was going up against Odin after all. It wasn't a leap to think that I would lose, even though I technically did. It was nice, though, to look around the room and see everyone who supported me in this new life. It gave me the strength I needed to face the day. What about you, Hel? Of course you have your priestesses, Baldar, Nana, and the people of Helheim, but do you realize that? I know you have a habit of focusing on who's against you, such as your family. When was the last time you focused on those who supported you, appreciated you? Just something to think about. Chapter 22, Training Montage. Fenrir was the only one to go with Wendy to Alfheim. Wendy tried to get a hold of Hel, but she kept running into priestesses. Some were nicer, some avoided their eyes, and some were just plain mean. Though they were always mean, so it wasn't much of a change from before. Even though they knew she wasn't just another human now, Wendy decided not to think about it. Instead, she took the same path Hel showed her. made her way across the branches as she followed the dog's little leaps. Once on Elfheim soil, she realized there were elves waiting for her. Without a word, they led her into the forest. Any description of the forest would never do it justice. Each tree had its own life force and its own aura. Each animal, flower, and blade of grass sung in harmonious pitch with those around it. The animal and elves respected the home that they were given, dancing on the balls of their feet to dodge the delicate foliage in their path. The forest was the forest was different than the forest she was used to, she reflected. There was more moss and wildlife in general. Winnie felt light, excited to be surrounded in such a magical place. Whoa, reading hurts your eyes. And also, I mean, I could be this way, but then I'm not in the light. Can I just read like this? I mean, my eyes aren't like on the camera, but can I like okay, I guess that will have to do. Can't see the cover though. Cover's over here. I should put the light over there. No one's watching. It's fine. Hey, I mean, Twitch streamers know. I mean, I'm not professional. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just, having a mental breakdown. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. And now, I mean, I'm still white as fuck. Shit. Did that work? Put my white ass with my white ass. Here. Switch the hair. I mean, I just have to be like here. No. Oh well, no one cares. I'm just another human being. Microphone. Don't go over there with light. There we go. Sweetie pie. Alright. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. I just... Some of you out there know. Some of you out there know. Okay. Wendy felt light, excited to be surrounded in such a magical place. The elves led her to a dirt clearing, the soft soil surrounded by trees and brush that the onlookers clearly hid behind. In the middle of the circle was Fear. Oh well. Petting a giant golden boar. This boar was almost as tall as her. Oh, I want to cry. Okay. Oh, I want to cry. She entered the circle. Freya, turned to her with a heart-stopping smile all gods seemed to have. Giving the golden boar one last pat, he walked to meet her and Fenrir. can't speak. This is why I write. I don't speak because I'm just bad at it. Ah, that's okay. I can already see the difference. Your aura, your aura isn't as badly chaotic as it once was. Wendy scratched her scalp. You can tell? Because I gotta tell you, I don't feel any different. Trust me, mortal. It, it will make all the difference. Patting her on the back, he started leading her to the middle of the circle. Now, we have to start at the foundation. Please take a seat. Doing what she was ordered, she sat crisscross in the dirt. It was soft soil, like right out of a flowered bag. She mindlessly dug her hands through it as she listened to Freyr speak. Now, Odin has fought in the open Odin hasn't fought in the open in years. Some said he was saving energy for Ragnarok, but that's obviously not true. Though you shouldn't think of him as a rusty or frail. After all, he has the power of an entire realm at his disposal. But don't think that will but don't think he will call upon it. He may be an it may be an unfair fight, but he will want an honorable fight. I highly doubt that he will even use a weapon, though doesn't mean he won't be unarmed. He hung himself on the word, he hung himself on the world tree in order to know the power of the runic spells, and plucked out his own eye to drink from the waters of wisdom. Even his voice is said to make those do his will. He will be using any charm in his arsenal to get you to surrender. Wendy's shoulders slumped. Even his voice is charmed? That's not the worst. He also has teleportation, telekinesis on the side, along with his shape-shifting. Shape-shifting? Freyr held out a palm. Though the favor lies with him, I promise I promise to give you a fighting chance. Now, he held out his hand, his earth energy stirring up his arm to make a flower physically float in his hands. Gods who are connected to their realms may draw power from them. Of course, that energy, it comes easier to those who have worshippers, making Odin the most connected to the realm's power. His only rivals would be Thor and Loki. God damn it. Oh, do I have water? I don't think I have water. Oh well. Oh, that's my life. Oh, that's my life. Okay. I spilled coffee on myself. Because that's the day I'm having. At least I have these. Okay. And that didn't even help. That didn't even help my voice. Oh well. I'm a train wreck anyway. I'm a train wreck anyway. His only rivals would be Thor and Loki. Though Thor would never make a move on his father, and Loki has a portion of himself locked up with acid forever dripping on him. Wendy raised her hand. With a confused smirk, Freyr gestured to her. Where does hell fit? Hell is a special case. He flicked the flower into the air, spinning and falling as a real flower would. She has access to her own underworld she has been siphoning from ever since she was given the role. She did this secretly until Beldar and Nana were killed. When they entered her realm, she made an alliance with them and moved Helheim closer to my realm. Our alliance was enough to make those in Asgard abandon their pursuit. So she was able to make a shield that Odin couldn't get through because she had her own magic pool? The god smiled. Her father's trickery didn't skip a generation. Combined with her mother's witch, she became a force in the Nordic realm. Thankfully, she's recluse and has no interest in competing with her grandfather. Instead, she fixates on the progress of the mortal world. However, I'm getting off topic. Yeah. He crushed the flower in his hand, opening his palm to reveal a decorative knife. Your process, you possess a connection to the Nirvana, the maker of the realms and the true entity of the sun. This means that you may be able to connect with the unclaimed energy of Nirvana and harness it as the gods do. Wendy's eyes bugged as she pointed to the knife. Are you saying I can do that? He laughed. You can do much more than that, mere mortal. Though the visualization of your mind, through the visualization of your mind, you should be able to mold your energy into whatever you need it to be. The knife changed into a bird, flying away as it added a song to the forest. Though we have to start with the basics, manipulating mana. He sat down across from her. He was only wearing a cloth skirt, making Wendy's eyes fix on his face as he did so. Hold out your palm and concentrate your energy there. With an inner smirk, Winnie closed her eyes. She began breathing in her 4-count rhythm, connecting to the flame resting in her inner self. As she connected, she realized that it did feel different. She couldn't exactly tell what the differences were, but the flames felt more solid. Instead of a candle, it felt like a hearth fire that couldn't be easily blown out. This made it easy to connect to, sending the connection through her root chakra into the earth that pulsed with magic. Once connected, she mentally went through the rest of her chakras, each one bursting with energy as soon as she focused on it. Then she connected to the sky, to Nirvana. It was not like anything she had ever felt. It was as if it was too crowded. Too crowded. Thousands of tones connected with her, snapping the rubber band on her momentum. Internal failsafes immediately severed the connection. Her hands clutched her to keep her splitting pieces together. Her nerves vibrated as adrenaline pumped her heart at record speed. Her deep breaths didn't contain wheezes, but still labored as if she climbed a mountain. Mortal! The voice was muffled, but she knew it would be Freyr's. She could sense that she was laying down on the ground, her side making contact with the cool soil. It was the timid, wet licks of Fenrir that grounded her. The dog's concerned response snapped her back into reality. I should probably be like right here. Do you guys mind if I'm just... snapped her back to reality. She opened her eyes slowly. The light of the harsh adjustment that she just, the light was a heart. Take a deep breath with me. Can you do that? Let's all just take a deep breath. Okay, let's get back to it. And I lost my spot. She sat with one hand still cradling her skull. What happened? Freyr gave her back the space she lost when she collapsed. I would ask you the same thing. What did you tap into? I don't know. I did everything like I normally do. But when I connected to spirit, I didn't think of the Holy Spirit. I thought of Nirvana. I guess that wasn't the right answer. He took a moment to blink before letting out a bolsterous bark of laughter. I like your enthusiasm, mortal. You definitely reach for the stars, but I wouldn't suggest connecting to Nirvana. At least not until you're able to fully control yourself in this realm. Even then, you may want to approach it with caution. Not having the mental capacity to continue the compensation, I think that was supposed to be conversation. I had an editor. She gave, well, you know what? It does, it's a stylistic choice. Let's just say that. Can we all say that? It was a stylistic choice. If the old writers can do it, I can do it too. I don't know. Yeah. She gave a thumbs up as she moved back into her crisscross position. Seeing her pain, Freyr sighed. Change of plans. We will teach you how to shield first, make it sound is the least difficult things we could do that. Um the goal is the goal is to make a sphere with kinetic energy to protect us from the energy we don't want to let in. Closing her eyes to check that her connection to the earth, her connection was still intact, she nodded. Seeing this, he took a deep breath. Start by activating your center. While focusing on your own energy, hum out the English letter M. Closing her lips, Wendy hummed the frequency. As it went on, she could feel the flame inside her dance, rippling and bouncing like raindrops. After a moment, he continued. Now to make the dome. On the exhale, puff out a high note. He demonstrated with a puff like air being released from a ball. Wendy copied until she could feel the umbrella of light above her. Now below. Freyr mimicked the buzzing of a bumblebee. As Wendy's nasal passages vibrated, Wendy could feel the space underneath her fill with motion, and all of the hairs on her legs were drawn to the almost electric current. To the east, he began to extend the letter E with an entire breath. To the west, he circled his hips to lengthen his O's. And to the south, he used his entire breath to speak the letter I. Lastly, to the north, he let out a calm sigh, like saying, Ah, open your eyes. At his request, she did. All around her was slightly permeable shield of power. She couldn't describe the look of the energy as it popped with the flame, as it flowed like water. If she concentrated, she could make certain parts thicker and swirl the energy with her mind. When comfortable, she thought of the Holy Spirit. The calmer light flowed into Wendy, soothing her mind a bit as it entered her sacred space. When she was ready, Wendy outstretched her palm and directed the flow of energy up her shoulder and down her arm. She imagined pink cherry blossoms and soft small blossoms. Oh wait, shoot. And just as Fayer's flower did, the rippling embers emerged into her palm as a soft small blossom. Wendy looked up at the god with a huge grin on her face as she breathed. I did it. Her eyes watered in victory. I see it. He nodded, a grin expanding his own face. Finally, draw it into yourself. Shrink it to surround your heart, to be brought out when needed. Wendy closed her eyes again, bringing the sphere in and encasing her light in it. When done, she opened her eyes again. That was awesome. Freya's smile deepened. Seems like you're ready for combat training. What? Combat training it was, throwing her into the deep end with a barrage of psychic attacks. They ranged from feelings of depression and anger to images taken right out of a horror movie. As soon as she got used to protecting from one type, he would switch to another. The mental strain Wendy experienced in nursing school couldn't hold a candle to the exhaustion Wendy felt after these exercises. When it got too much for her, the magic of the elves put her to sleep. When they would wake her a few hours later to do the exercise over again until Wendy could seamlessly transition between attacks. Yes. It was strenuous. Strenuous. I don't speak very often. I really don't. Oh my gosh. It was relentless. At night, Wendy went over the breathing techniques. Her meditations focused on the movement of magic through her body. Getting used to moving the power from one limb to another to shield that surrounded her, and concentrating on the warm shock sensation she felt as it followed her commands. Though she ended up falling in and out of sleep as she meditated, she could see the demonstrational progress. Yeah, demonstrational progress during her sparring sessions. You know, I wrote this book. I should know what's in it, but I don't. Uh, do I have to still be? I kind of still have to be the side. Oh, I don't know. I just wish I was better at things. I can't speak right. I mean, nobody's read the book, so nobody knows how it is. Oh well. Dreams don't come true anyway. At least for most of us. Dreams to, and my voice is still going. What time is it? I mean, no one's watching this, but I can continue on. She went over techniques, and in falling asleep. When she could defend a good number of Freyr's attacks, they started offensive training. Just as you made oh well. Just as you made the flower, bring your energy to where you need it in the body. forming it into what you need. Wendy closed her eyes as she directed energy to her fingertips. Opening her eyes, she could see the transformation into claws. The the firing energy extended to make the knives cover her digits. Out of curiosity, she recondensed the energy into her palms and created kunai. She tossed it up in the air and was surprised when it suspended from or separated from her. Wow, I can't read either. Oh God. Ah, my God. Okay. She tossed it up into the air and was surprised when it separated from her. When it was back into her hand, she lengthened it to the size of a thin, short sword. She lightly gripped it in her hand. She lightly gripped it in her hand and muttered under her breath, "Fuck, I'm Magical Green Lantern." Freyr's eyebrows furrowed. What? Wendy waved it off. Never mind. But how is this going to work? Do I get a target or a dummy practice? What? Well, it's godly, so. What? Wendy was blindsided with an impact in her stomach that sent her flying across the valley. Barely giving her any time to recover, Wendy had to roll to dodge the next fist coming at her, and thus started her hand-to-hand combat training. Because of her years as a catcher on her childhood softball team, her legs were able to hold her close to the ground. Though her glutes and abductor mucus screamed at her, she was able to dodge the taller god's attacks. By redirecting her magic flow to her legs, she learned that she could jump as if she were on a trampoline, able to bounce around and do flips with half the effort it would have taken on Earth. Seeing this, Freyr suggested that she fight the golden boar. If one had never seen a boar in person, oh, my allergies. If one had never seen a boar in person, just know that they are scary as hell. They're quick, with horns as big and long as an arm, and shaped at the tip, or sharpened at the tip, even worse. um, Red gashes indicated the times where Wendy wasn't quick enough. Additionally, it was pardoned with yeah, it was partnered with a snarl that sent shivers down to her toes. Wendy did try to fight back. She mainly used claws and spikes of magical energy, incorporating any battle tactics she had learned from the years of watching drawn and programmed characters fight. Or anime. Though they both knew it would likely take a miracle for her to win. By the end of the week, he didn't have to hold back much with her, though they both knew it would likely be a miracle for her to win. Wow. Oh. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at any of this. That's okay. We all have bad days, and we try to make them good days. But then they don't work. They don't magically become good days. We just have to change our outlook on them and say, you're going to be a good day. I am going to at least pretend to smile. And when your voice goes out because the human body hates you and you've been crying, then you just Speak from your. Oh, God. Speak from your diaphragm. Do your best. Get a little more airy with your voice because then it's not going through your nasal passages. And you just keep going with it. Just keep trying to make your dreams come true, I guess, because, I mean, the rest of the adults are too distracted by what life throws at them to give a crap about you. And even if they could do something to help, what could they do to help? Make the dreams come true? Make the pain go away? No one can do that for you. You just have to deal, because that's what life is about. Anywho, bees. Why are you fighting so hard, little mortal? Oh wait, actually, did I? Yep. Why are you I believe in you. You're going to have a good day. I believe in you. And even if you don't have a good day, just come stay with me. I'll read you a story. And we'll just forget about it for a little bit, okay? Because it's okay to cry, it's okay to lose yourself, but you just gotta stand back up. Because nobody, I mean, there are people that may help you stand up, but they're not going to drag you up. You have to stand up yourself. And if you do have somebody that will pick you back up, give them a call today and tell them that they're appreciated. Because not everybody has that. And sometimes people's support is just as rocky as they are. So, if you have the strength to help another person, you should do it. I mean, we don't all have the same strength, and some of us are very rocky right now. So, just, I believe in you. You can do it. Anywho's bees. I'm not going to cry. Anywho's bees. Alright. Why are you fighting so hard, little mortal? Freyr's asked as he sat across from her, the fire lit in the forest night. Many have faced armies to fight Odin by Odin's side, yet I have never seen anyone push themselves so hard to reject his offer. Why? Wendy opened her eyes, finding a small ball of light resting near her nose. They looked like lightning bugs, but were actually small fey creatures. If it weren't for their physical movements, if it weren't for their playful movements, they would look like stars that lit up the sky, a sky unhindered by the atmosphere of the border world. Wendy smiled at the little creature, poking it and giggling as it scampered away. I don't want to be a fighter. Oh, but you catch on so quickly. It wouldn't take more than a few hundred years for you to be feared on the battlegrounds of Asgard. Wendy let out a breath, letting her shoulders slump. Honestly, that's it. I don't want to fight. I would be lying if I said I hated fighting. There is a part of me that loves it, a bit too much for my comfort, but I don't want it to be my life. There is so much that I don't know, so much I want to find out, and so many mysteries I haven't solved yet. She looked at him with a strained smile. Imagine getting your wildest dream, something you never thought possible, given to you like a gift, then have one stupid mistake take all of it away. That is why I am fighting so hard. A small smirk played on Fayer's lips. Not the answer I expected. Most fight their hardest for someone they love. Wendy shrugged, leaning back on her arms planted behind her. I'm doing that too. I don't want my dad to worry about me. To him, I would have disappeared. Nevaeh knows, and I bet she would find a way to visit me. But my dad would never have a clue. Wendy trailed off, her stomach turned at the despairing thought. He has no one left without Wendy. No reason to dwell on the consequences of what has yet to come. The important thing is that you have considered them, he chuckled. You are definitely an unexpected one, little mortal. She chuckled back. Just tell me straight, how much of a chance do you think I have? He shrugged. Like I have said, you have a talent for proving the unexpected. I just hope that your talent can fool the wisest in all the realm. The night tampered on in silence, both of them lost in their own thoughts. Wendy realized when she slept, she didn't dream. The entire time she was in Elfheim, sleep seemed to be only a dark place of rest. She was so preoccupied she had barely noticed. When she did, the thought cascaded. Her outlandish fantasies had been her escape for so long that the absence of it worried her. What else would she lose if she became stuck here? How much of herself would she lose? She chanted to herself that everyone changes, but that didn't replace the loss. It didn't stop the fear. Hey, wake up! Wake up! Wendy woke. Wendy woke up to hands jostling her back and forth. She opened her eyes to see the white-haired goddess above her. When they made eye contact, the goddess grinned. Good morning, little human. Today's the day. Wendy groaned, rolling back over away from her. 5 more minutes. Hell let out a huff. Rude. Apologize for the mortal. Rude. I apologize for the mortal. Hopefully she wasn't like this the entire time. Freyr laughed. No, just right before she gets up. She kept asking for a drink of energy, but not the teas of the elves. It tastes like dirt and sadness. It tasted like dirt and sadness, Wendy muttered from her place on the ground. However, she did start to stir. Hel faced her, the hands firmly placed on her hips. Yeah. I'm not good at reading out loud. I can totally read in my head. I can totally read in my head. I can't read out loud. I'm doing my best. The more time you waste getting up, the less time you have to get ready. I hate to say, but we are in a bit of a time crunch. You still got to get dressed and shit. With a groan that encompassed all the aches and pains throughout her body, Wendy stirred. Is it really that time already? The goddess rolled her eyes. Really not a morning person, are you? No, working the night shift killed my love for mornings. Wendy yawned, taking her time to stand up. I guess I'm ready as I'll ever be. You are glowing with confidence. She motioned her hands in the direction of Helheim. Let's move out. Just a second. Wendy groggily walked to Freyr and hugged him. Win or lose, thank you for teaching me. Wendy felt his hand pat her back. Of course, little Wendy. Keep your focus at all times. I'm slowly getting closer to the camera. I don't mean to do that. It's almost 6:30 my time. I can get... Yeah. I can get 2 more pages in. What do you guys think? Oh, wait. That's okay. It's fine. God. I don't even know if my voice is annoying, you guys. I don't know. My voice could be the most annoying shit, and I don't even know. I mean, I think it's the worst shit, but... Oh well. It looks better this way. Okay. Um... Wendy... Wendy giggled before waving at all the elves in the surrounding forest. Thank you all. I promise to come back and dance again. The elves cheered, the forest erupting in song as their response. Wendy nodded. Okay, I'm going to do my best. The elves cheered, the forest erupting in a song as their response. Wendy nodded, turning back to Hel. The goddess just stared. Her eyes, I can't sing anymore. That's okay. Her eyes darting from Freyr to the forest, back to Wendy. After a moment, she shrugged and started walking. Fenrir said that you were doing well, all things considered. Wendy sighed, keeping her eyes on her footing as they traveled across the branches. All I can do is my best. Not really sure how my best will stack up, but at least Whitney sighed, keeping her eyes on the footing as she traveled across the branches. All I can do is my best. Not really sure how my best will stack up, but at least I can make a spectacle out of it. That's pretty much all you can do, the goddess shrugged. I've done everything I can do on my end. Enchanted your armor, talked to Freya so she could talk to Odin, got your name out there as much as I could. If anything, everyone at the bar will be rooting for you. Wendy let the confusion hide her embarrassment. So they don't boo as me as I walk out there? That, and if enough of the bigger gods sympathize with you, they might do something stupid to help you. Everyone will be watching me and my father, Loki, to make sure that we don't help you cheat. If someone else helps you, it might be the distraction you need to win. She slowed just enough to put her hand on Wendy's shoulder. However, I wouldn't count on it. Oh. My thumb was covering some of it. Oh, God. God, and now I have, like, wild hair. But that's okay. That's okay, because my light doesn't work, my camera won't focus. I'm not doing this for money. I wish that money would come my way. I manifest as much money as I can, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I am too tired to be doing this. Wow, okay. Wendy's shoulders deflated, but she smiled at Hel. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Hel rolled her eyes, giving Wendy a healthy pat on the back. Enough of the dramatics. Just do your best, and try not to give me this much trouble in the future. Do that and we'll call it even. The pair started making their way to the mountain. The sound of their steps in the snow Ah! Ah! That is how today is going. The pair started making their way down the mountain. The sounds of their steps in the snow needed to fill the quiet forest. Wendy enjoyed distracting Wendy enjoyed the distracting scenery up until the wooden structures came into sight. Then the unmistakable figure waiting for them made Wendy throw up all of her guards. Randy, good, take Wendy and get ready. We'll meet in the throne room when everyone's good to go. Randy bowed. Yes, my goddess. With a sideways glance at Wendy as she began following. Resigned to her fate, Wendy stalked behind as she was led silently through the main streets of Hell's fortress. Wendy stood tall, even though she had showered. Wendy stood tall, even though she hadn't showered in almost a week, her only bathing coming from a stream in the forest. There were rips on her baggy shirt and running tights from the golden boar, her body bruised, and her half ponytail and a rat's nest in her hair. She didn't mind before, but now that she was around people, she couldn't help but wish Randy would walk faster. They walked through Hell's kitchen door, going through the open doorway, and into a maze of doors behind the throne room. Seemingly at random, Wendy stopped and held the heavy wooden door open for Wendy. Without making eye contact, Wendy entered and quickly scanned the room. It was small, made from wood and boulders, as most of the fortress was. A wood table set nearly in the corner with a pile of clothes on it. The room lacked a bed, but made up for it with a large wooden basin. Wow, okay. The room lacked a bed, but made up with it with a large wooden basement containing steaming water. It wasn't a shower, but Wendy was still giddy to see it. The door closed behind her. Undress so we can clean you. You smell like pig droppings. Wendy turned to see Randy didn't leave. Wendy turned to see that Randy didn't leave. In fact, she was getting comfortable, even removing her cloak. I can take it from here. You definitely don't have to stay. She huffed. You're not going to meet your mortal friends. You are meeting gods. I am here to make sure you get it right along with checking the enchantments on your clothing. Now hurry, we have no time for your childness. Not able to argue, Wendy started discarding her clothes. We'll skip the shower scene. And also Randy is a bitch. An hour and a half in total was what An hour and a half in total, and Wendy was ready. Of course, there were no mirrors for Wendy to see how her torture turned out. Instead, Wendy was quickly shoved out the door and told to meet Hell in the throne room while Randy cleaned up. Wendy tried not to smile as she left, but the image of Randy cleaning up after her was a small achievement. As Wendy walked to the throne room, she let herself dwell on the thought until a plushie smacked her in the face. As she reeled, Will's laughter chimed through the air. Wendy focused on the sound, seeing him by the entry to the throne room. Will, what the fuck? Will, what the fuck? Oh my god, man. No, sorry. Let me try that again. Will, what the fuck? He only shrugged as he snickered. Should have been paying attention. With a sigh and a light smack on his arm, Wendy smiled. Aren't you going to wish me luck or give me a small pep talk before I go get myself killed? Oh, is that what I'm doing? It better fucking be. I'm in this mess because of you. His face animated as he brought his fingers up to his chest. Oh, okay. I'm the one who went Super Saiyan and started a bar fight. Enough, or I'll send both of you to timeout. Hell's booming voice echoed in the hall. Echoed. Hell's booming voice echoed in the hall. Like Wendy was also dressed in like Wendy, she was also dressed in furs and armor, a decorative helmet covering the top of her stern face. Both Will and Wendy stopped immediately and faced her, obviously amused. Uh, obvi- obviously amused. Hell waved at Will. So, aren't you going to give her a pep talk? Will turned his body to Wendy and slapped his hand on Wendy's shoulder. With a big smile, he declared, Don't fuck it up, we're all watching you. Wendy rolled her eyes, but she smiled warmly. Thanks. Hell clapped her hands together. Super compelling. Now let's hit the road. We're going to pass for fashionably late if we don't get going. Wendy started to follow Hell's retreating form when Will's hand stopped her. She turned to him, his face holding a smile as he once did. He looked worried. Wendy smiled, patting his arm. Even if I lose, you won't get rid of me. I'll still visit you at the bar. He let his hand fall off Wendy's shoulder. But I know what I'm losing. But I know what losing would do to you. Just do your best, and whatever happens, happens, okay? Wendy nodded, giving one last wave as she jogged to catch up with the goddess as she walked into the darkness. At first, Wendy was confused. She figured that since Asgard was on top of the World Tree, they would just ride a Pegasus up. Instead, they went out the great doors, traveling in the darkness until they approached a warped stone with no door and no handle. Uh, warped stone. My God. Warped stone door with no handle. The door opened without Hell touching it, the scratching of stone against stone making Wendy flinch. It opened to a gray, chilly sky. As they both cleared the door, it closed, leaving only a boulder in its place. Wendy took a moment to look around at the breathtaking view. Stone cliffs hugged a broad river. The green of the brush spotted the gray stone that were only a few shades darker than the sky. It was a painting Wendy hung in her memory to enjoy for the rest of her life. Where are we? Wendy asked as she turned in circles. Norway. We have to get across Blitzrost. Blitzrost. I wrote this, but I don't know how to pronounce it. um, to get into Asgard. Wendy stopped spinning and crooked her head at Hell. You mean the Rainbow Bridge? It's in Norway? Hell gave her a sideways glance. Yeah, where else would it be? Well, Asgard is on top of the World Tree. Why are we on Earth if we're just another part of the Nordic realm? Why are we on Earth if it's just another part of the Nordic realm? Oh, well, the short answer is wars. It's harder to get into Asgard if you have to take the long way around. Though there is a back door in Yggdrasil, since it's an official visit, we'll have to go through the official entrance. She waved her hand. It's just for show nowadays, but because it's getting harder and harder for Helheim to open the portal. Wendy nodded. Makes sense. Now, when you get there, just don't talk unless you're asked something. Most of my family have charms against shit. Most of my family have charms and shit on their voices. The only time you need to speak is when Grandpa asks you to join their ranks. Other than that, it's better for you to just follow my lead. Wendy thrust out her thumb, pointing upwards with the enthusiastic grin. Smartass. Wendy chuckled, or Hell chuckled. I'm going to finish this chapter. It's almost done. Probably not. We'll we'll go past the Rainbow Bridge. It'll be 7 my time. I go to bed at 8 because I'm an adult and it's stupid. So stupid. God. Today has been exhausting. That's okay. I'm just going to bed 2 hours early, so it should be fine. It should be fine. Da da da. Smartass. Hell chuckled. By the way, your armor is enchanted, preventing to enchant. By the way, your armor is enchanted to prevent breaking in the body. As long as you keep it on, you are safe from breaking any bones or snapping any ligaments from attacks. It will still hurt like a bitch, but at least you can still keep fighting. The bands that Randy put on your hair should raise your wisdom capabilities and quick thinking skills bit. It won't be anything close to Odin's, but anything helps. Wendy touched the leather bands Randy put in her hair to hold the braids back. Thank you. She shrugged. Show me with your actions. The bridge is up ahead. It was a cliff extending out to a platform. The stone dangling precariously over a massive drop. Precariously. That's what that word is. Near the edge sat an old man. His hair was as white and his skin reflected a great many years in the sun. He looked homeless. If Wendy were being honest, his clothes looked warm but worn. Warm but worn. He also had a gray blanket wrapped over his shoulders. At their approach, he stood to greet them. He gave a short bow before smiling warmly at them. And then he says some stuff in Norwegian that I Google translated. And hopefully it's right. And if it's not, it's a reason to talk about it. Guess you didn't get the message. Hell pointed back at Wendy with her thumb. Sadly, she's American. Mind speaking English? He fixed his eyes upon Wendy. They seemed to be as gray as the stone they were standing on, with an indicative shimmering movement. All the gods seemed to possess. The part making Wendy stare, however, was that his pupils were elongated, not quite as extreme as a goat's, but enough to draw the eye. He held out his hand and gave a more formal bow. My mother made sure I could never be impolite to a lady, especially not one as yourself. May I introduce myself as Hiedmedel. Hiedmedel. Oh my gosh. That's okay. The guardian of the bridge. Feeling like it was the right thing to do, Wendy took her hand and did a small curtsy back. An honor, great God. I am Wendy, reaper for the goddess Hel. He hesitated for a brief moment before letting his hand fall. His eyes bore into her as if intrigued as he muttered, Not what I expected. Sorry to do this, but Hel circled her hand at the space behind him. Oh, of course. With a wave of his hand, the stone began to glow the primary colors, like smoke from incense. The colors blended into the air. As the colors crossed, the colors briefly melded into the cross. The cross colors. The image of all the colors of the rainbow swaying among the variants in a never-ending dance, expanded as the area across the cliff became hazy. An unnatural shimmer started fogging in the space in front of them, which was only about a meter or so in front of them. He was also where the rainbow bridge stopped. This was also where the rainbow bridge stopped. The Great Rainbow Bridge, only about a car's length wide and a meter long. That's it? The words flew out of her mouth before Wendy could stop them, the sentence gaining her the looks of both the gods, making her immediately panic. I'm sorry, ignore me. Hel looked at her in the way you would look at a really stupid person, or else someone who had done something incredibly stupid. Yes, what were you expecting? Wendy blushed furiously. Nothing. Hollywood just lied to me how big it was, that's all. Hel grabbed the back of Wendy's short collar and manhandled her across the bridge and into the portal. All the while, the other god bent over at the waist as he laughed hysterically behind them. So they got over the bridge. My voice is going out. My voice is going out. I'm still sad. I mean, it's kind of helped, but I believe in you. I believe in myself. Except I don't believe in myself. All the hope is gone. As you grow older, and in the world we live in, my hope's gone. But that's okay. Because we just gotta keep going, right? We just gotta keep going. Thanks.